Hello, listeners. This is Lee Price,
This is Will Ford from Football 365.
and you're listening smartly to At the Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast, although I would describe it as the Chelsea FC podcast.
Magical from Eden Hazard. Kai Havertz in the Champions League final. Ivanovic! In the middle, it's just behind him. But it's tapped in by Hakim Ziyech. Matic with the ball driver. Matic takes the net off. Hat-trick hero. Cole Palmer wins an epic, sensational game.
It's time for another episode of At the Bridge Pod, your number one Chelsea FC podcast. Coming up on this episode,
Half of this podcast are now undergoing their rehabilitation programme. Oh, welcome back everyone to another episode of At the Bridge Pod. I'm joined in the virtual room filled with lions. Lion. I've got Chris. A lot of us are undergoing our rehabilitation programme, if you didn't know. Birth's out.
The Chelsea curse is struck.
Ollie, as we know, is away, so he's having an enjoyable time in Bratislava. So that's awesome. He's not undergoing a rehabilitation program. He's on actual leave.
It's an international duty.
Yes. Birth's not feeling too good today, so we're hoping he gets better soon. And I have the dreaded virus. So yeah, it's not been great. Chris, what? Good job it's virtual. But Chris, hype moment of the weekend. Please have us. Cheer us up.
My new Sunday team played the Sunday team I've just left this weekend, and we won 4-3.
Oh, did you score?
No, got an assist.
You can't do the no respect celebration.
I know, right? No. Yeah, it's a good game though. Really good game. Nice to see some of the old lads again, and still nice to get the win though.
Yeah.
And to be fair, we've started the season pretty well. I think 3 wins from 5. It's not bad.
Yeah. If you'd have scored, would you have run the length of the pitch to celebrate?
It was either going to be no celebration or Adebayor.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. For me, Sounders won. That was good. Seahawks won, and I even got to watch the Seahawks game because it was the early kickoff. But of course, my non-NFL moment of the weekend, though, we always have one. It was going to be Bolton playing out from the back. That was a contender. It went hilariously wrong and they conceded. But I felt positivity is in short supply lately, so I'm bringing a positive to the table. And it was something just so wholesome. It was a moment of the weekend. It goes to Antoine Griezmann, just gifting a young fan in the crowd a football. It made her day. And it was just good to see some positivity in the game. I thought that was just lovely. That was it. Makes their day. Everyone was happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what? As a dad who takes my daughter to football, I don't think some players do actually understand how precious that moment is for the kid. Like it's a moment that they will remember forever. Like I remember when we met Aaron Cuthbert after one of the Villa away games last season. Might have been the season before. I don't know. They all blend into one. And she stood with Melly for like 10 minutes having a conversation, signed her shirt. Melly still talks about it now.
Oh, wow.
So those moments like really do mean a lot to the kids.
Oh, that's awesome. No, I just felt it. I thought, some positivity. I thought I'd inject it straight into the episode. So I've gone from positivity. So news, because there is some. There wasn't going to be any, and then there was literally in the last hour. So right, unfortunately, fortunately, we have got the WSL season starting this coming weekend. But unfortunately, we've had some injury news confirmed now. And that was that Chelsea confirmed midfielder Sophie Ingle has sustained an ACL injury during that pre-season game against Feyenoord. She's likely to be out for the entire 24-25 season. I mean, that is a huge loss on the experience side, isn't it, Chris?
Yeah. It's horrible for the team, but it's really horrible for her.
Yeah.
Like, I know that's a really obvious thing to say because it is for any player, but people have got to take into account as well, a player of her age,
33 this year. Yeah.
To come back from that injury is going to be tough.
Yeah. I mean,
so I mean, I hope the recovery goes really well and she can get back playing, but it's not going to be like, players in their 23, 24-year-old coming back and getting back into it after nearly, missing 9 to 12 months. I can tell you from experience that at mid-30s, every injury takes longer.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's so true. I did my obviously I did my oblique. I tore my oblique, and that took a couple of weeks to heal. And then I thought I did it again, but I don't know if I did do it again, but that doesn't matter. But that's the thing. I just feel so sorry for her because she's at realistically at the tail end of her career. And
Yeah.
it's a frustrating injury anyway to come back from. And it's just a huge loss on the experience and the squad depth front. So wishing her a full and speedy recovery. And earlier on today, though, this is positive. We had a confirmation that Enzo Fernandez and Kieran Dewsbury Hall have both returned to training following their illness at the weekend. That's made me wonder what they were ill with, considering how I felt. But hey, who knows? Who knows? Romeo Lavia and Malo Gusto are also back from spells out injured. Now that made me happy. That made me happy.
Yeah.
But this next bit, that did not make me happy. And I don't even know if you've read this, but if you haven't, Chris, oh dear. So, Reece James remains out with a hamstring injury with no sign of an imminent return. It is believed he has suffered a delay to a return due to the hamstring not healing as expected. Chris, I got the words no imminent return and a delay. So first of all, I want to squash it was a ploy because he was suspended. So we can throw that out because that was comical when people went, oh no, it's just so it looks no. And then I've just seen another update saying they're adamant he will not be rushed back, but it's not a setback. I'm sorry, that's a setback to me. He was meant to be back. You can't play it as not a setback when it's a setback.
No, of course it's a setback. He hasn't healed, has he?
Yeah, exactly.
He hasn't healed, so that's a setback.
It states here they are not. It's not a setback or a fresh injury. It is simply a new injury to the affected muscle. That's a setback. How can you? I love this. What wording are we doing? What are we doing? I mean, it's worrying.
Yeah. Do you know what's weird about the Reece James injury, though?
I'm all ears.
I don't. When you watch him play, he doesn't look like someone who does a lot of high intensity sprints.
Yeah.
To get so many hamstring injuries. Like hamstring injuries are very common in forwards because they do a lot of high intensity sprints normally as well from slow movements. So they're walking and then all of a sudden, you've got to sprint because you're making a run or you're chasing after a ball. I don't see Reece James do that a lot. So to get the amount of hamstring injuries he gets when he plays at quite a slow pace is strange. But again, I mean, we said it in the summer with Reece James. If you can't be fit, we're going to have to look at whether it's worth having him around.
Well,
because it just isn't.
We've got a Champong to come in. So that's always, it's nice that we have the next man up, so to speak. But we had that obviously last Saloon episode, and we can't just I keep saying this about like the Mudryk thing. You can't have that episode and we've said, look, otherwise, it's your last chance, and then go, well, it's his last chance now. No, you can't keep having a last chance, and we need to have that conversation about him because this is a big deal.
And the problem that we've got is, we don't know whether Achiampong is going to be ready to play Premier League games. Like I know he's very talented and he's very, very highly thought of, and there's a lot of people calling for him to be given his chance. But is he ready, to be playing week in, week out under the intense scrutiny that is Chelsea Football Club? So that means Malo Gusto is going to have to play almost every game, which means he's then going to overwork him. So then he's going to get more injuries.
Yeah.
But so I think you look at it and you think, well, we probably needed another right back. But then if we'd signed another right back and had 3 right backs in the squad, then Reece James probably would have been fit and then you would have had a problem. It's just, Do you know what I think we probably should have looked at in hindsight was a centre back who can play right back, but do it well. Because I know Disasi is a centre back who can technically play right back.
Yes, that's true.
He does, but he's shit at it. So someone who could do it and actually do it properly would have been ideal.
Yeah. I mean, it's just that the market is obviously, it's quite, I think every position at the moment feels it's a dry market. But
To be fair, looks even more stupid now letting Chalobah go,
oh, yeah.
who is a centre back who can play right back and do it quite well.
I mean, I said earlier, and I stand in by it. I think we need to, and it's a hot take because this is a Chelsea pod, but we need to put the Trent Alexander-Arnold versus Reece James debate to bed because Trent is fit. He's always fit, you know.
Yeah, and that, yeah, exactly. That's so true.
Look, I love Reece James, and I think he's a top class, even a world class player on his day. And if he was consistently fit, he would probably be better than Trent. I want to make that clear. However, there's no point being top class or world class if you're never fit. There's no point.
Oh,
yeah, you're world class. That's great. But how many games do you play a season? 5.
And like I've always said about when you're talking about players and people are throwing the term world class around, you should only get called world class if you're doing it week in, week out for a number of years, performing at the top level.
Yeah.
And Reece James doesn't, because he doesn't play week in, week out at the top level. And that's the problem. You know, he can be world class when he plays, but I think to say he is world class is a bit of a stretch. When was the last time he played a full season of football?
That's the thing. It's when I go back to the other players, I think, who could have been world class and been recognised as world class. Marco Reus. If he'd have stayed fit, he would have been world class instantly. He's top class player, but world class. Jack Wilshere. We all forget how good he was. But again, he was better than half of, I'd say he was one of the top 5 midfielders in the league at his peak, but he couldn't stay fit and he fell off because of it. It sucks, but it just happens. And I'll be curious what we do going forward. Who knows? There might have another update before we've even closed this episode. Who knows?
Reece James looks like a pure profit sale to me.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. And it'd be interesting. The fan base would probably kick back about it, but if he's, he stayed fit at that club. Yeah, well, he wasn't doing it us, was he?
No, he definitely would, though, wouldn't he? You know for a fact. We'd sell him to someone, I don't know, Bayern Munich, and he'd go there, play every game.
You know what? I know what Jurgen Klopp meant when he said he was running out of energy. I'm just running out of energy.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Well, good job I got some energy left. Time for the match report, sponsored by a lot of cards that day. There's a lot of cards being handed out. A lot of them. Big weekend for yellow cards, it seems. Only 1 red. I was disappointed by that. What are you doing, Stevens? Anyway, Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 1. Winners and losers. And we kick off with the winners. Who have we got? How many have we got?
I've got 3.
I got 3 for 3. I got 3.
I'm 3 on both.
I want to know who your first winner is, Chris.
Renato Rega.
Oh, I did not have him, but he's becoming like a proper Barclays man, isn't he?
Yeah,
my word.
I thought first half he struggled. To be fair, I thought he looked a bit lost in the first half, positionally. But I still think he did some good things on the ball. And then I thought second half he got a little bit more used to where he was meant to be. I don't know whether it was a tactical tweak or someone had just had a word with him about what he was meant to be doing, but he looked more comfortable in the second half. And he uses the ball really well. He doesn't really give the ball away too much, which I think is important when you look at where he's on the ball most. Those sort of areas of the pitch is very important to retain possession. Yeah. But he still plays forwards, which I like. Just thought he had a decent game in there in a game really that never really got going. It wasn't overly hard to stand out in what was a very abject performance, but I mean, I thought he did well.
First half was awful. Second half was better. He has the Rudiger energy, so you could never complain.
Jumping
at that.
In the crowd.
Yeah, I mean, he got a booking for it, but everyone was getting one, so that's it's just part of the day. My first winner, and he was the first winner on the list for me. He had to be. It was Robert Sanchez, and You know why? I'll take you to minute 37 because he commits a foul on Evangelson to give Bournemouth a penalty. But I am a firm believer in if you make a mess, then you clean it up. And if you clean it up, it's all good. And he made his mess, he did. But in minute 38, he cleaned it up with the penalty save. And then he continued to pull off save after save after save. He single-handedly shut out the entire Bournemouth team Saturday night. Just call him Gandalf because no one shall pass his net. I was very impressed with him because you never know goalkeepers and confidence, and we know how he can be. You'd have thought he made that mistake. Is it just going to cascade? He didn't. He got better because of it. Fair play. Didn't think he had it in him, but I'm impressed.
No, in fairness, he was good. The penalty save was a good save. Thought he made another few decent saves. We like having keepers perform at Bournemouth. Sorry, away, don't we? We like it. No, he had a good game and fair play to him. Like that's all we can ask for. Yeah, we'd like to see it every week, but for this game, he was definitely one of the main reasons why we kept a clean sheet because it weren't down to the defending in front of him. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I mean the last really big positive performance, which involved Sanchez, was last season remember when he jumped out the goal, did that Superman thing against Fulham. That's the only time I remember him being very good. We've been blessed at Chelsea. We've had like Cudicini, we've had Cech, we've had Courtois, and even the one season that was from Mendy. So we just want a top class goalkeeper. And hey, Sanchez might not be it. I don't know, but it was nice for him to at least showcase that he has ability. I can only go based off that one game. It was bloody good. And I hope he continues to play like that because if he does, our goalkeeping situation slightly gets a little stronger. We're not doing too bad there. So, second winner for you.
I've coupled two together, so I suppose I've got four in a way, but I've coupled them together. Jadon, Sancho, and Nkunku.
I've got Sancho down, but go on.
But Nkunku scored the winner, and Sancho made the winner. And when you're making substitutions, you ask them to make an impact, and they did. That's the one big positive of our squad is we have quality on the bench. So when the players on the pitch aren't doing it, there are game changers to come on off the bench. I thought Sancho was really good when he came on. Always positive on the ball, always trying to make something happen. He did make the goal. It's a brilliant individual goal, though, from Nkunku. The touch, the little bit of skill to open it up, and the finish is insane. So I do think people are going a little bit over the top with the fact that, Sanchez made the goal. He gave the ball to Nkunku, who then did a lot of bloody work to score. It wasn't like a 60-yard cross-field pass right onto his foot. He played him an 8-yard pass into his feet. It was a good pass, but let's calm down. But yeah, for both of them to come on, them two won us the game really because it was a game of not a lot happening. And when you bring in subs on, that's exactly what you want.
Yeah, I mean, for me, why did I have Sancho? Well, sorry, the nose got in my way then. But of course, I can now finally say it because I hope you have your dancing shoes on because we're heading to the Stat Drop Club. 1 assist, 2 key passes, 92% passing accuracy, 2 of 4 ground duels won. Oh yeah, I mean he came on for that second half and he was a game changer. He showed that Dortmund era of him. And look, if he that was his debut. Well, his substitute debut, whatever. If he continues delivering performances like that, we will have to start calling him the postman because he will deliver. Outstanding for me. And like you said, Nkunku, honourable mention in my little category there because, he did. He made a moment. He made the moment, scored the goal. And I know we're happy we won. Of course, we're happy we won. But we weren't happy about the performance, which I'm sure we'll touch on. Our group chat was very hotly tested, where it was just you and I against the other 2 members of the show because it wasn't an enjoyable game. But anyway, we're on winners. So I'll round it off with my final one. It was Moises Caicedo.
Yeah, he's on mine too.
He held our team together like Spider-Man held that ferry in Homecoming. He just cleaned up everyone's messes. He was everywhere. He was switched on. He was ready. He was firing. And I believe he had the captain's armband at one point. So captain's performance. I mean, I don't know what. I definitely saw him have the armband at some point. I don't know.
He was captain the whole game.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Because I thought someone had pointed out that it was Colwill, and I had to doubt myself. And I was like, was it Colwill? I thought it was Caicedo.
I swear on the team sheet it was Caicedo.
Yeah, because someone had pointed out on Twitter to us, oh, it's Colwill. And I was like, was it? I'm pretty sure it wasn't. But hey, I've covered all bases there. But why was he a winner for you?
Same reason. I thought first half especially, he played in midfield by himself. And he did a really good job considering he was basically in there alone, which is a really hard task. Broke up the play, used the ball well, covered most of the pitch. Yeah, thought it was actually a really good performance from him. Like one of those sort of understated performances where he didn't do anything that's going to overly catch your eye, but he just did the stuff he had to really well.
Yeah, I mean, 10 ball recoveries says it all. I mean, that's big for turning over possession. You know, that's how you control a game, or at least it's almost like the Kante Makaleli class ability. You know, you're never gonna satisfy everybody because of his 100 million plus, price tag. But for what the player is as a player, he does have some top class ability, and well, I don't think you could ever really build around a defensive midfielder, but he definitely makes us better when he plays.
Yeah, I've said about Caicedo that I don't think a player in his position, unless you're Rodri, I don't think a player in that position will ever be worth £115 million.
No.
He's certainly closer to his value than other high profile signings we've made.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah,
if we was to sell him now, for example, you'd get minimum 85 million. So that's not far off what we've paid, really.
Yeah. No, you're right. I've just double checked. Caicedo was captain for the whole game. So whoever said that on Twitter, you lied, you're wrong.
Yeah. Liars.
Oh, my word. So we go to losers. And I'm just going to throw this in straight away because this is just me whinging. Possession football, because boring. That game was boring.
I could have put that in. I could have put that in mine, but I pretty much could put that in mine every week.
Look, it was boring. Look, entertainment is subjective. I know that. We won. I know that too. But I was bored. Both things can be true. And that is the end of my point.
And you know what? For people who are saying, oh, well, it gives you control over the game. In the first half, we had 71% possession. Yeah. We had 2 touches in the opposition's box. 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bournemouth had something like 14. So what's that tell you?
I mean,
it tells you that they're being more effective than we are. So we've had 71% of the ball. We've done nothing with it. And Bournemouth looked the more likely to score.
Oh, so Bournemouth had the better half in the first half.
Yeah, you can take your possession and you can keep it, because for me, it's all about what you do in either box.
Yeah, I mean, it comes to something when I think they had like nearly 20 shots and we had like about 10. I mean, all the disrespect really to Bournemouth. I'd say we had a good spell from like 60th minute onwards for a bit. But that first half, we were not. I mean, they had the penalty. I mean, a penalty is a penalty, but it was a tough fight. That was a tough fight. I mean, who was a loser for yourself?
Well, talking about the penalty, Wesley Fofana.
Oh my word! What a back pass!
Robert Sanchez committed the foul, but he was basically hung out to dry by that back pass.
Yeah,
really, it'll go down as Robert Sanchez gave away a penalty, but he didn't. Wesley Fofana gave away a penalty because he left Sanchez in no position to do anything else other than bring the man down.
Yeah.
Awful back pass. But then the worst thing is, after that, he did another undersold back pass. And you thought, what are you doing today? You're taking the piss. I thought, have you got money on Bournemouth to score? He must have had a bet on. He must be Tony's, mate. Hey, I thought, Jesus Christ. I thought Fofana just before the international break was steadily coming along, looking relatively more solid. But I thought this game he looked slow, he looked lazy, he looked off the pace. Decision making wasn't good. Out of position a lot, either too high or too deep or too wide. And I just thought he's having a really poor game. And if I remember right, didn't he pull out of the France squad to stay
Yes.
at Chelsea to concentrate on Chelsea?
Yeah.
You should have concentrated fucking more, mate. 'Cause I don't know what you did during the international break, but we're training.
I mean, you're right about obviously the back pass was it was a hospital pass, because Sanchez was there. He was off to A&E for it. The problem, what you referred to, obviously another back pass he did in the second half early on. Bournemouth had an attack, and Fofana stuck a leg out, and I can't remember who made. I can't remember if it was Evangelson or Clark. It was one. I can't remember who the player was.
Justin Kluivert. Yeah.
They got a shot away in the end. But
yeah,
he could have easily gone down. It would have been another penalty.
Yeah,
they would give it. I mean, personally, I'd be like soft as soft, but I moan about that all the time. But it doesn't matter. That referee, well, it's Taylor. He would have definitely given
Anthony Taylor's given it, definitely. Yeah,
100%. You just, oh my word, we need to.
That's what I mean. He was just lazy, off the pace, half a second too late to everything.
Wasn't a great game for him, unfortunately, and he's been one of our better players this season. So it was a very calamitous. Hopefully, it was just one game. Hopefully, so my second loser, it had to be because people have already told me to do it, and I was going to anyway. I wrote these up on Saturday night anyway. Anthony Taylor, of course he is. So to not only break the record for the most yellow cards shown in a game with 13. But to then extend it with 14, I mean, the consistency, the ruthlessness, the coolness under pressure. I mean, he flourished. I mean, incredible numbers. I've never seen anything like it before. But you know what? If we gather around this podcast table and put our serious faces on for a moment, it was atrocious officiating. Because for me, there were more bookings in that game than on Ticketmaster for the Oasis tickets. The game wasn't violent. And the majority of the cards were officially noted down as for dissent. And I'm going to say this again. I've said it in the groups and I've said it on Discord. One that annoyed me was Wesley Fofana. Now, we've said, he hadn't a good game, but irrelevant of that, he was booked for standing his ground. He stood his ground. That's what he did. He stood his ground. He floured an elbow. No, he didn't. He stood his ground and got booked for it. Now, I get a fair few questions as to why I have the NFL as my favourite sport and football second. That's why. Soft. It's a soft sport now. Because if standing your ground results in a yellow card, forget the game's gone. It's off down the local shop. It's picked up its pack of smokes and it's rode off. Because that was not... I was appalled at that. I don't know what you made of that and Anthony Taylor, but I was appalled.
To be honest with you, I was appalled at most of the yellow cards. I mean, how you've managed to break the record for the most yellow cards in a Premier League game in a match that I don't think had a bad tackle in it.
No, I mean, I can't. Well, apparently one standing your ground. That's what always bugs me because I watched it back and I just thought, what, why?
Yeah. Do you know, we asked for consistency and he was consistent with the dissent thing, but he was consistent to the point where he was almost taking the mick. Every time a player looked at him, he booked him. And I thought, how is that dissent? He's asked you a question. It's not dissent. He's just asked you a question. So I just think it was one of them where, I don't know, maybe the referees have had a briefing about we need to clamp down on dissent. When they do it for 2 weeks and then they don't do it for the rest of the season. Because there was a few in what other game did I watch on the weekend? There was a few in the North London derby as well, where the ref booked people for dissent, and you thought it doesn't look like he's saying anything to you. So I think it one of those clamp down weekends where they're trying to make a point that they'll never make again.
I mean, I get obviously we've had over the post game, it's, well, Chelsea and Bournemouth are going to get a fine and an investigation about their conduct. And look, rules are rules, whatever, I get it. But why aren't we? I'm not accusing of anyone anything here. I'm just saying, why haven't they also said, because of the amount given out, we need to look at the performance of Taylor? If it was, I mean, they probably side with him anyway. But the point is, you can't say that that's a normal game if that many yellow cards. You've broke the record. Come on.
But you know what it is? By the laws of the game, he actually was right. He was right to book all of those players, because the law this season is no player can talk to the referee except the captain. So as soon as they open their mouth, letter of the law suggests that they should be getting booked. But my point is, use some fucking common sense. When you're running out of room on your yellow card because you've booked everyone on the pitch and two people on the bench, maybe think, hold on, I need to calm down a little bit here. I'm going crazy today.
Yeah.
I know they have to follow the rules, and I know that referees will get into trouble if they're being seen to ignore it. But there should have been some common sense used on a lot of those. Like, just tell the player to go away. Then if he doesn't go away, fair enough, book him. But there was one, I can't remember who it was, but they walked over, said something to him, and he booked him. And I thought, you haven't even given him the chance to go away. He's basically walked past you, and you've gone, you're booked. You walked past me too close there.
On that, there is another other than the Fofana yellow card that annoyed me. Renato Vega, because he celebrated with the crowd.
Oh, I've always hated that.
It's like,
if you're jumping into the home fans, yeah, sure, book him. But he's jumping into his own fans. He's not inciting trouble. It's with his own fans.
It's like the wider players get booked for taking their shirt off, and people it's because of the sponsorship thing.
Because of the sponsorship, because it's the time when it's most visible.
Yeah, you will see. It will be whatever. Say, I was just about to say, who's our sponsor? We don't have one. Yeah. Oh, but anyway, yeah. Well, but the thing is that iconic moment, it will be, oh, there's no shirt. Oh, we've got no sponsorship. Yeah, bloody, it annoys me. Who's your second loser?
It pains me to do it, but I always pride myself on being fair.
Okay.
Nicholas Jackson.
Weren't his best game?
I love Nicholas Jackson, but he was fucking terrible. Honestly, didn't hold the ball up, didn't bring other people into play. Didn't really ever look like scoring a goal. Another one who just seemed a bit leggy, a bit not with it. The games after international breaks are weird because the players have been travelling all over the place, different time zones and things. And he just seemed to me like he'd come back not really ready to play a game.
Yeah.
Just a bit slow. Another one, really, like a lot of the team, just didn't seem with it.
I mean, international breaks they're funny, aren't they? Because it can stop momentum. It can do a lot. I mean, we saw Liverpool. Look at Liverpool losing to Forest. That was definitely okay, that's not what we expected sort of result. I'm just happy we beat Bournemouth because it was at Bournemouth and we've had a history. Well, it feels like we've had a history where Bournemouth always seem to do us over.
Yeah, and to be fair, no one's going to look back at the end of the season and think, "Oh, do you remember that? That was a shit game that we won." You're just going to look at how many points we've got, and ultimately we've got the 3 points, so it won't matter come the end of the season.
No, 100%. Can't say any fairer than that. So, of course, my final loser, it's just that virus. It's going around my workplace. I picked it up. It sucks. It's that time of the year, isn't it? Leaves are changing. My body's aching. I'm blowing my nose every minute. That's it. I just thought I'd be selfish because I was
you.
I'm tired. I'm exhausted. It's like, I didn't need this again. It's the second time I've had it. I don't want it. It's just sort of wanting to make some sympathy. So, who was your final loser?
My final loser, and Ollie will love this.
Oh, come on.
João Felix.
He did get a booking.
No, I tell you, he's the polar opposite of Sancho and Nkunku. You bring a sub on to make an impact, and he came on like the invisible man. Did absolutely nothing. I literally can't remember a single good thing he did in the entire time he was on the pitch. Not a single good touch, a good pass, nothing stayed in my memory from him being there. It's like he didn't come on. And I just think this is why we have to be careful, because he was good when he came on against Wolves, but then he's played like this. And I've seen how people on socials are getting carried away with Jadon Sancho, but it's like he has only played 45 minutes, so let's judge him over the next 3 games and we'll see where we're at with him, and then we can start being fair. But Felix, Jesus, just nothing. And the fact that he come on the pitch before Nkunku, I think is taking the piss.
Yeah, that there was. I know there was a lot of people getting a bit pissed that Nkunku came, because he came on at the right time, I guess, because he scored at the right time. It was a surprise to not see him on earlier. That I must say.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Nkunku. Like, because after some of the Europa Conference League games, Maresca's made comments, hasn't he, about players not working hard enough, and if they think they're not going to work hard enough on if they're going to walk around on a Thursday and then play on the Saturday, they're not going to. And it seems to me like that's sort of aimed at Nkunku when you look at the chain of events following it. And it does worry me that we're not going to play a player with Nkunku's quality just because he doesn't work hard enough. I think there are certain players within squads, and there really always has been, there's that player who can do something out the ordinary to win you matches, like Nkunku did against Bournemouth, that you just have to make allowances for the fact that they don't work hard.
Yeah, like Hazard.
We had to do it with Hazard. Liverpool do it sometimes with Salah.
If we based Hazard based off that sort of ideology that, how they train, he'd never have played. He'd never have played.
It's so true, isn't it? Like, when you think about it, Maresca's comments, and I actually agree with Maresca's comments. So this isn't me disagreeing with him. I agree with what he said about players should be training every day like they play.
Yes. Some don't.
But again, you have to notice the exceptions. And everyone knows Hazard trained like he couldn't be asked, but then he'd go and win you the game. Thierry Henry apparently was the same. Thierry Henry was a terrible trainer, but he'd go and win you the game. And good coaches understand that I'm not going to get the full version of Eden Hazard in the week, but I'll get him on a Saturday, and that's when it matters. And I think Nkunku might be similar. Maybe he's not a very good trainer, but he can win you games, and he is the only player aside from Cole Palmer in our squad who can win you a game in a moment.
Yeah. So, emoji game review. I will go with the sleepy face because virus is making me exhausted, and that game was boring. I'm going to keep with that theme. What about you? What is the emoji for you?
Oh, do you know what? This is a tough one. I know what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with the mobile phone.
Oh.
And I'm going to go with that because the game was so disinteresting that I did spend a lot of time just looking on my phone.
Yeah, it's not a great thing to admit that, and it's true.
Do you know what? I always know if a game's shit if I start picking my phone up.
That is fair. That is fully agreed. So, of course, we look at the Lion of the Week picks. So, I had Madueke. That's a loss. No, Berth had Palmer. I'm not allowing that. Ollie had Felix.
No, Palmer was shit as well, to be fair. Ollie chose Felix.
He did. He was trying to prove a point. Yeah. The wheel, I think the wheels won it. It chose Tosin, and he was probably the better of the four.
Yeah, he was pretty good when he came on, to be honest.
The actual Lion of the Week, Sancho got man of the match, but would it be Nkunku?
To be honest with you, I'd be tempted to give it to Robert Sanchez.
Wow. Oh, he kept, you know what? I'm actually agreeing with you. He kept us in it.
Yeah. He was the reason why we didn't lose.
Yes.
Nkunku was the reason we won, but Sanchez was the reason we didn't lose.
No, I actually, you're right. We could have easily lost
And
that game.
and it'll probably be the only time he gets it all season. So
Yeah, well, no one's actually took a good lead at the moment because everybody's on. It's been a different winner every week. So that's
I don't
something,
know
I
whether
suppose.
I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad
Well,
thing.
if you wondered, out of 5 games so far, we've had Lavia, Jorgensen, Madueke, and Kunku, Caicedo, and now Sanchez. So,
Do you know what concerns me most about that? Like most of those players are defensive players.
yeah,
So
no.
we've got 2 goalkeepers, 2 holding midfielders, and who
Yes.
was the other one?
In Kunku and Madueke, the only attacking players.
Yeah,
Oh
that pretty
no.
much sums us up, don't it? At the
This is
moment,
like when Man United's best player every week was De Gea.
yeah, that's exactly what it's like.
You're like, yeah, it's
It's like,
great,
yeah, they're
but
winning games, but they're only winning games because the highest getting man of the match every week.
yeah, I don't think I had to double check that we had because for some reason I put on our little spreadsheet that we're not playing midweek because we're not in the Champions League.
No.
So I don't know what we're going to do Friday's episode, but that doesn't matter. Questions time as I get my phone out and look at what was sent to us because I should have done this in advance and I never do. Well, Kayla wants us to make Anthony Taylor a loser, such an effing twat. Well, we did, so that's a tick.
Yeah, good. Yeah,
Yeah.
done.
Our short 98, is Sancho going to get a run of starts?
No,
Who do we play next? That's a good question, actually. before the
West Ham.
next- Oh.
Um,
Every game's tough when you're Chelsea.
well, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if Sancho started the next game after how he played in this one.
Mm.
But then it'll be up to him, won't it?
Well,
If he
yeah,
plays well, he'll stay in the team.
Our run of games till the next international break is West Ham away, Barrow at home, Brighton at home, Ghent at home, Forest at home. Wow, that's nice. A lot of home games
In
there.
fairness, I mean, West Ham away is a tricky one, but after that, we should win all of those games.
Well, yeah, because we don't really have much of a choice because when we return from that international break, this is league games only, not obviously Conference League. We've got Liverpool away, Newcastle at home, United away, Arsenal at home.
Fuck, that's a tough month, that is.
That's a big 30 days.
Yeah, Jesus.
Like, I mean, we could have 0 points. We could have 6. I don't know. That's all.
No, because
I mean,
you never know which Chelsea's going to turn up.
that's the thing.
That's the problem at the minute, and that's what I mean about Sancho. Yes, he had a great 45-minute cameo against Bournemouth, but then he could start against West Ham and get dragged off at half time, Mudryk style.
Oh.
So you just don't know. He'll get a run of games if he plays well.
Yeah, I mean, Riley as well put in a question: did Sancho deserve the player of the year? I'm guessing they meant player of the game. And how excited are you from this season?
I don't think he deserved player of the match. I thought he was good when he came on.
He was good. Yeah.
If you're going to give player of the match, for me, it was either Sanchez, who was the only reason we was 0-0 at the time anyway, or you give it to Nkunku, who actually won the game.
I will do this because you weren't here for the what's more likely, but we do have a what's more likely. So
What's more likely?
Never say never, but
Ben has asked, what's more likely, Mudryk to win the Ballon d'Or or Chelsea win the quadruple? Jeez. What quadruple, though? Is that the Conference League? We get away with that? Conference League, League Cup, FA Cup, Premier League.
Liverpool fans still talk about winning a treble when they
got the UEFA Cup.
the League Cup, the FA Cup, and the UEFA Cup, which is like the worst treble you could possibly get.
No, it's not really a treble. I mean, it is a treble of trophies.
Yeah, but it's not the treble, is it?
I mean, Ballon d'Or, he's got to be better than ever. Based on what we saw now, the sample size, he is not getting even in the Ballon d'Or voting.
I mean, to be fair, we're acting like this is a tough question, but it's not, is it?
It's not.
Us winning the quadruple is possible. Mudryk winning the Ballon d'Or is about as possible as me learning to fly.
Oh, what? Actually, a plane or just flapping your arms and just taking off?
Just me.
just
me jumping out of a window and being able to fly.
Bloody hell! Yeah, that I mean, we will try and think of what to do for we might do a what's more. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how we feel. You know what? I won't do a tenor ball because there's no one here. So you can't really work together with just one. So it's not really fair.
No, that is true.
That's not fair. So yeah, thanks for listening, listeners. Treat yourself well. We'll be back on Thursday or Friday, whichever we feel like. Hopefully everybody will be back in the studio and I won't be complaining about the virus. So till then, that will be us signing off.
You've been listening to At the Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram by searching for At the Bridge Pod. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, leaving us a review is always appreciated.